Now we are going to learn about the data binding in Kotlin. Data binding in Kotlin refers to the process of establishing a connection between the UI elements of an application and underlying data model. This technique allows for seamless synchronization between the user interface and the data it displays or manipulates. Here, how data binding works. Data binding library. In Android development, data binding is facilitated by data binding library, which generates binding classes at compile time for XML layout. This library is integrated with Android build system and supports binding expressions in XML layouts. Here is the binding expression. In XML layout, you can use binding expression to bind UI elements like text view, edit text, etc directly to the fields or method in your Kotlin code. For example, you can bind a text view to a variable. Here is an example. Variable name dot username. This is an example of data binding. Let's talk about one-way binding. After that, we will discuss about the two-way binding. Let's open the Android Studio and go to build.gradle module app. And here go to Android and here build features and data binding is equal to true and sync now. As you can see, the data binding classes has successfully been created here. Now I have to create one fragment. For creating the fragment, let's right click, new, and go to fragment and take black fragment here. And I will name as it login fragment. Here I will pass data from one fragment to another fragment. Login fragment, click finish. Okay, now go to the resource file and here is the layout of our activity and fragment. To enable the data binding, open the split view and right click here and show context extension, convert to data binding layout, move this line. Same thing, go to fragment and go click on split screen here, right click here and show context section, convert to data binding layout, click OK. Control S. Now go to the main activity here and create an instance of binding here. Let initialize it. Let init where binding of activity main binding. Now initialize it. Binding is initialized to data binding util dot set content view and it is taking two argument. Activity I will pass this and layout r dot layout dot activity main. Okay. Now we will replace the first fragment, display the first fragment in our activity. For that, go to the activity main XML file and here I will take one frame layout, change this constraint layout to frame layout and different fragment will be displayed in each of these frame layout and frame layout, remove this text view. Now give ID home frame. Okay, Control S. Now go back to the main activity, and here I will replace my fragment with the frame layout here. Right, Sport fragment manager dot begins transaction dot replace, and here I will write the ID of my frame layout r dot id dot home frame, and here the name of the fragment, which is login fragment dot commit. Now the first fragment has successfully been created. Now go to my login fragment here and remove this line. Here I will remove this comments and remove this also. Companion object, I will remove this. Okay. Here create the instance of fragment also. Let in it where binding of fragment login binding, and I will initialize it. Let's remove this line here. Initialize the binding. Binding is initialized to fragment. Let's do this. Cancel this. Initialized to fragment login binding dot inflate, and here it will take inflator comma container, and the next argument it will take attached to root. I will mark it at false. Okay, and the return statement will be return binding dot root. Okay, here I will override one function on view created. Okay, now create one layout file of fragment. Here I will create one layout file. Let's design. Here change the frame layout to constraint layout. Okay, let's run it and see our fragment will get display. The first fragment will display. Let's run the app. As you can see, I have successfully displayed my first fragment over there. And let's go to dock here. Now create the design of fragment. Here I will create two edit text and one button. Create one edit text. Remove the text view. I will pass the data from one fragment to another fragment by using the concept of data binding. And here I will create one edit text, app compact edit text, and the width will be 0 dp, and I will take the height as wrap content, and define the start to start of parent and top to top of parent and to end of parent. Here I will get margin top will be 20 dB and margin horizontal will be 20 dB. Let's give one text to it. Text, enter, name, and click here and press Alt plus enter. Extract string resource and press OK. And here I will give one ID to it. ID, name, et. And let's copy it and create one another text view below this. I will do just copy it, Control C, and paste it here and change the ID to pass et and change the string text to enter password and click Alt plus enter, extend the string of plus OK. Now here I will change the constraint top to bottom of name et. Here is my second edit text, and now I will create one button below this. Let's create one button, app compat button, and I will give it width to width I will give it to 0 dp and height I will give to wrap content, and I will top to bottom of pass et and start to start of parent. I will give one margin top I will give it to 20 dp and margin horizontal will also be 20 dp, and one constant also defined one constant which is end to end of parent and to end of parent. And here I will give one text submit, click Alt plus enter, extract string resource plus OK, and I will also give one ID login button. Now create one another fragment where I will display the data sent from one page to the next page, and here I will take one fragment over here and I will click new fragment, blank fragment, and I will it name is that home fragment. Press OK, finish. As I already created here fragment, then they no need to create as I have already created home fragment over there. This is fragment, this is login fragment, this is home fragment, and click split. And here I will change first the frame layout to constraint layout. Constraint layout. Now remove this text view and I will take two text view over here to display the data. I will take first text view, app compact text view, and the width I will take wrap content, height wrap content, and I will define one two constant start to start of parent and top to top of parent and to end of parent. As you can see, here is my text view, and give one margin here, margin top 20 dp, okay, and text size will be 16 sp, and here I will give one ID name TV. Now one create another text view. Let's copy it. Control C and Control V. Here first I will change one ID here. ID will be pass TV and start of parent, top to bottom of name TV. Okay. And the first text view is here and second text view is here. Let's go to our first fragment, which is login fragment. Here I will pass one data and display it on our home fragment. For that, let's go to our login fragment here and I will pass the data using bundle. Here I will create one instance of bundle, val bundle, and I will initialize to bundle, and another I will take inside on view created. I have successfully created bundle. Now I will pass data using bundle and display it to the different fragment. Let's create one function over here, init UI, and click here, create function init UI, and inside the init UI, use binding dot login button dot set on click listener. On the click of the button, we will pass the data. Come here and I will pass bundle dot apply, and here I will pass the data in the form of key and value pair, put string, and it will take the two arguments. The first argument will be the uh, key value, which is I will pass at name, and the second value will be the string, which will I will get from the edit text binding dot name et dot text dot toString, and next will be the password, put string, key will be pass, and binding dot pass et dot text dot toString. Okay, here I will create one more instance, val fragment, and we slice to home fragment here. Okay, now here I will pass fragment fragment dot arguments, and here I will pass the bundle here, bundle. Now go to the second activity, require activity dot begin activity dot support fragment manager, get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot replace, and here I will pass the frame layout, then the fragment r dot id dot home frame, and next will be our fragment dot add to backtrace. Here I will pass one string which is null dot commit. and I will get this data on our second fragment. Here I will display that data. For that, first I will create one data class over there, and I will name it a new class, and let's name it as profile, and here I will take the two strings. The first string will be the name, var name of type string, and I will name it, and second will be var password of type string. Let's pass the empty string over there. Okay. Now go to the home fragment here where I have need to display the data. Here I will create one variable. Variable first, first is will be with data. First convert it to binding layout, show context action, and convert to data binding layout. And here I will pass variable name will be data. Any name you can take over here, and it will type of our model class, which is profile com dot example dot data binding dot profile. Okay. Now where I need to display the data in the text view, here I will take one text. Text is initialized to at the rate and will be data dot name, and here will be text will be at the rate data dot password. Okay. Now display the data in the second fragment. Go to our home fragment here, home fragment, and remove this line, and remove this line. Remove this function. Remove this. Now create one instance over here. Let in it var binding of type fragment home binding. Now initialize it over here. Let's remove this line. Binding initialize to fragment home binding dot inflate, and it will take inflator comma container and attach to root false and return binding dot root. Okay. Now override the second function over there, which is on view created, and inside on view created I will get the data from the last page. First I will initialize one variable over here, val profile, and initializes to data class name, data name profile create. Okay. Now come here and get the data arguments dot let and profile dot name it dot get string, and here I will pass the string which is name. Let's do this. No, what's that I'm getting here? Okay, here profile dot password it dot get string, and here I will pass the key pass. Now use the binding concept, binding dot profile, or we can say data, binding dot data, and pass the class over there, profile. Okay, let's make it private and let's check the code. Here is our login fragment, and on the click of the button, here I have put some data on the bundle and pass it to the second page. In our home fragment, I will display this data using the binding concept. Let's run it. Hmm, the app is crashed. Let's check the logcat. As here I will see the logcat for the information. Here I can see I am getting the null pointer exception. Let's go to our code here. Okay, okay. Don't close the button here and close the button over here. Now it's fine. Let's run the code. Now pass the data from first fragment to the next fragment. Here I will write my name, which is JG, and the password I will take like Aurora and submit. As you can see, I have successfully passed the data from first fragment to the second fragment. I can also apply the validation so that the empty data should not pass.